Let's go to Emily in Austin, Texas. What's up, Emily?
Hey. Wow.
Whoa, what's
Doesn't feel
happening?
like real life.
Oh, it's real life. It's about to get real. What's up?
Hey, okay. Let's do this, I guess.
What are you nervous about?
Everything. I don't know. I didn't think I was, and then all of a sudden, here it is.
Ugh, I've had this effect on people. Even when I was dating, I didn't date in middle school, but when I had like a girlfriend, I always made everybody nervous.
I love that for you.
I don't love it for me. I think I'm just weird. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to read my question because I squirrel off, so you might have to reel me back in a little bit.
All right, no.
But my question is, how do I let go of my extreme fear of dying alone? So I guess my biggest fear is the unknown that comes with age. Like, what if I get Alzheimer's? Am I just going to sit in a nursing home forever alone? I've been divorced twice, and I'm scared to leave my current relationship that's very toxic because deep down I'm almost 40 and I don't have kids and I can't have kids, and I feel like this is my last chance for a family. Too much?
No. This is one of those rare calls that probably more than anything I could say, if you and I were just sitting down talking somewhere, I would just sit in silence for about 30 seconds, and then I would ask your permission if I could give you a hug. And I would hug you to the point that it got a little bit awkward, and then the point where your shoulders could drop. And you could feel that I love you and that there's not something wrong with you. Because there's not.
Yeah.
What happened in your first marriage?
Well, I was really young. So growing up, I always just wanted to have a family. I did have siblings, but they were older, and so I kind of grew up as an only child. And so I was 18, and a situation presented itself to get married to someone with two tiny little kids, and so I did. And I raised them for 5 years. I was their mom. And then he cheated on me and left and moved to a different state, and so that just kind of ended abruptly.
Hold on,
but I was still a baby.
Sit right there. I don't want to blow by how huge that is.
Yeah.
Like, you were 18 years old, you were still a baby, and then you had an Insta family.
Mm-hmm.
And this was your life. This was your family for 5 years. Did you give up college and your dreams for other things for this one path?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was a crazy person who had my whole life mapped out, because we don't know any better. And, just threw it all to these babies because they were mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you didn't just get left romantically, which is brutal. You didn't just get cheated on, which is brutal. This cat stole your family.
Yep, he stole my babies.
And he took your heart with him, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was very empty for a long time.
Yeah. All right, so then what happened in the next one?
So then I waited a long time, and when I was 30, I got married again. We eloped, and because why not?
Because why not?
And he was a soldier, has had a lot of PTSD, got into some really heavy alcohol addiction, to where he was going to rehab, went to rehab a couple of times, did a inpatient where I had to take him to the hospital to detox a few times, and then sent to a 3-month rehab. And during that stay, he just decided he wanted a life of solitude. So 3 years into our marriage, we just didn't have a marriage anymore.
And I don't have to tell you how damaging and hard it is to be married to someone who's an alcoholic.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because they're staring you in the face, but they're not there.
Absolutely.
And you're making love to them, but they're not there. And you're trying to talk about the future, and they're not there. And it makes you feel insane.
Yeah.
And then they leave you.
Right.
Right.
The person who's there to do anything and everything. And I'm one of those ride or die people. Like I would have stayed with my first husband after cheating. I would have stayed with him through, my second husband.
I know, but you won't ride or die with Emily. Why?
I don't know.
Why don't you like her?
I don't know how to. I don't know.
That's fair. I'll give you that. And then what about this person you're with now?
It's kind of starting to remind me a little bit of my last relationship, with like a lot of the PTSD stuff starting to trickle in. He's a police officer with, been a soldier and war stuff coming up, but also just it's smothering. Like it's too much. Constant like phone calls and texting and this and that, and it's like it's overwhelming. It's just too much, and so we don't know how to communicate well with each other.
Have you sat down and said, "Hey, this is a lot"?
Absolutely. And
he just says, "I don't really care what you think. This is how I'm going to roll."
Yeah, it's kind of been like, hey, I need a boundary of, I drive to work for 10 minutes. Like, I just need to not talk to you for those 10 minutes. Or I can text you that I'm on my way home, but I need to be able to just drive home for those 10 minutes and just decompress. And then it's a thing. It's always a thing. Like, can you please not call me 15 times when I'm at work? Because I think there's an emergency I just needed to know if you need anything from the grocery store. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm used to being alone and by myself. And this is, the first relationship I've been in for 4 or 5 years. And it's too much. Like
Okay. You know your body better than anybody.
Yeah.
But over 40 years, you've been conditioned strongly to not trust that body.
Yeah.
And you're either wide open or you are shut them down.
Yep.
And my dream for you would be to be wide open for Emily. So if like I was a licensed therapist and we were sitting down talking, which I'm not, I would go, you know what, let's do it anyway. We can do it. We got a few minutes. Go to the end. Go all the way to the end. Give me a scale on 1 to 100 how healthy you are. 100 being like, you've got to be kidding me, super healthy, and then 1 being like, I'm mainline McDonald. Give me
20.
All right, so 20. So let's say you're 75 and you're at the end of your life, okay?
Absolutely. Maybe 70.
Maybe 70, yeah.
Right.
I've got some, yeah. I snorted brown sugar off the counter. So I've got a lot of miles on my body. So back when I was a kid. So I
have so many questions about that, but we can
trust me. I had a problem. I used to eat it out of a spoon. Anyway, so you're 75, and you're in a nursing home, and you're all alone. Describe that for me.
I just think that you're just lost. Like,
describe it for me. You're thinking about it. I want you to describe it. Put yourself there.
Just sitting alone in a chair. Just sitting there.
Where does that picture come from?
With everyone else around you. I think with my grandpa, when he had Alzheimer's, we had him even in our home, but he would just sit there just alone, and nobody really, like, I see other families and, grandparents or whatever, and you're always taking care of each other, and there's that love there, but there's, like, I don't have any of that. And so I just picture at the end of the day, just being alone, like in a chair, just all by yourself, getting changed by someone that you don't know. You know what I mean? Just sad. It looks sad.
Yeah. I don't think that's end of life. I think that's right now. I think you're a good anxious person like me and the rest of us that can project. Our brains will spin up narratives and stories that aren't true into the future that we can worry about in the present, because that allows us to avoid what we're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
But you have a guy that texts you 400 times a day, and you are completely and totally alone.
Yeah.
and you've gone all in twice on two different people, and they've left you, one for a bottle and one for who knows what. And that feeling of, I'm just sitting here in a chair is right now. Fair?
Yeah.
So here's my question. You can continue what you've just described to me in a few minutes. And I'm sure you and I could hang out for a couple hours and you could tell me the full story. But in just a few minutes, it looks like it has been a slow collapsing of Emily over the period of 20 or so years. And probably, if we're honest and got into your childhood, there's probably some of that there too.
Oh, yeah. I could be a weekly segment if you'd like.
It's time with Emily. So we could go through all that, and I think it'd be worthy to go through all that, but we're here.
Right.
And so let me cast a vision for you as though you're my sister. Okay? You're my friend. You can't go back and change that stuff that happened, even though it shaped you in a profound way. The question I want to ask you is, are you going to continue to think I'm only worth this much until you just can't take it or they can't take it and they leave or you leave? But I think you're too stubborn. I think you're too ride or die to ever leave. I think you'd marry somebody who's abusive and controlling because ride or die. And you can do that, or you can live wide open, not for some person who's going to come in and rescue you, but for you. So my question would be, what will you have done when you're sitting in this rocking chair and you're 75 years old? Will you have gone skydiving or got another graduate degree or play checkers with old folks in an old folks home every Saturday or serve your local church or will you have done that? Will that be the story of your life? Or will it be these hyper intense relationships where you get set on fire followed by half a decade of isolation?
Yeah.
That's where we are. And you get to pick both avenues. Do you have a gang of like women there in Austin that you hang with?
No, I don't want to tell you where I came from because you'll judge me, but I just moved to Austin recently.
From where?
California.
I'm not judging you. Dude, I was just in Hollywood a few months ago. It's amazing. It's one of the most beautiful places I walked outside like at 5:30 in the morning, which is noon for me back here. Not really, but to go get some coffee. And I just remember stopping and laughing. I was like, oh, this is why everyone on the planet wants to live here. It was incredible. I don't judge you. Good for you.
I mean, it's good weather, but
yeah.
You're a Texan, so I'm sure you're aware.
I mean, we're superior, but I mean, I'm not going to judge you, right? Right. Okay. So here's a beautiful moment. And I usually don't like this kind of language, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is an either or moment for you. You're almost 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I made the same journey. 39 and a half, I moved to Nashville. Marriage barely hanging on. No friends, maybe one or two, like that I had colleagues, right? Some people that I'd known that we weren't super close yet, or we had been close and not anymore, but I had a choice to make. I'm either going to go all in and be weird and just go make friends and invite people over from work and take people to lunch and put in my budget. Like this is just, I go to lunch a lot, or I have lots of coffee with people, or I say yes to every invitation to whatever. You can do that, or you can just circle the wagons and go home every night and wait for the next Ted Lasso season to start.
Right.
And my challenge to you is looking back over the last 20 years of your life, the Ted Lasso route hasn't worked. Would you be willing to try something crazy and different for Emily now?
I guess it's time.
I don't know another path. Or be
Yeah.
that weird person at the gym that asks people to hang out after meeting them at the gym. I don't know. Like, what are you into? I don't know what you do, but man.
I mean, I'm only at a 20, so I guess I need to get to the gym.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it feels to me like you have a very anxious life. Can I run through a couple of things with you and you just say yay or nay, or give me like some quick data points?
Yeah.
Do you owe money?
Yes.
A lot?
Yep.
Okay. Not a lot of friends. What's your calendar look like? Empty or chaos?
I fill it up with work.
Okay. So you don't do heroin, but you do work.
Correct, yes.
What's your job?
I am a director at a preschool.
Oh, sweet. So you are
A crazy person.
Yes. No, you're a saint is what you are. You're an absolute saint. But you also have to deal with overzealous parents 24/7, 365. And you have to deal with preschoolers, and you have to deal with teachers, which all of that is a lot.
Yes.
Right? But at least you didn't have to do that during COVID in California, and you did. Right? So I want you to understand your body is doing the best it can to protect you. It's just doing its job. And you've created an anxious universe for your body to live in, and it's really hard. Every alarm you've got is going off, and they should be. And so if you reverse engineer this thing and say, where are places I can begin to get freedom back in my life? So I give my body a fighting chance to have peace. So my body has a fighting chance to not be so anxious. So I have a fighting chance to go do things that I actually want to do. I'm tired of waiting for people.
Yeah.
And that will be where you find so-and-so. And you will be the best version of yourself when y'all do meet. I know that's the worst. I know it's the worst.
Go pack my bags.
No, don't pack your bags. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
all right, so what if I did this? What if I did this? So I work with Dave Ramsey here. What if I gave you a year of Financial Peace University and the Every Dollar app to help you pay off what you owe? Would you do it?
That'd be amazing.
Okay, done. If I gave you my book, Own Your Past, about dealing with your childhood stuff so that you can be a functioning adult, would you read it?
Absolutely.
Done. If I gave you 3 or 4 sets of questions for humans so that when you're going out and being weird, you could be like, hey, I got these cards, and they'll either go, you're an idiot, let's do this, which is awesome, or they'll be like, okay, and it'll give you a pass. If I give them to you, will you actually use them?
I will level my weirdness for you. Absolutely. Yes,
Excellent.
let's do that.
Excellent. And then it's just going to be, I give you some tools, but you're just going to have to go out and be weird and take a risk and go make friends and get a community and start looking in your life for ways you can not be surrounded by a bunch of clutter and not be surrounded by nobody.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, that fear you have at the end of it all, that's real. That's real.
Yeah.
But it's more a symbol. It's a representation of the death of this fantasy you've had since you were a very little girl, which is, I'm going to have a family. And I'm going to be at the epicenter. You probably already have a picture in your head of the Thanksgiving where one of your kids brings home somebody the first time.
I mean, I did, but now I'm almost 40.
Oh, so what?
Now I'm just a crazy aunt. But that's okay.
I know. If you got pregnant right now, they would treat you like you're 1,000 years old or whatever. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't think you're done. Can I tell you my mom's story? Have you heard me say that on the show?
Bits and pieces. Yes, about her going back to school at
42.
Yep.
And I'm trying to figure out a way to surprise her in Oxford this summer. And I'm only saying that because this show will be out by the time I'm gone. Because she's doing her last year at Oxford this summer at 73.
It's amazing.
I know. But it's not weird. She just made some choices. One little step after another little step after another little step. You get one shot at this tiny little reckless, crazy life we got. And you are worth so much. Are you in?
I'm in.
Promise?
Do it. Yes.
All right. If you will take a picture of the people at your first weird little dinner party that you're going to throw.
Okay.
Send it into the show, and we will post it in the show notes. We will all celebrate you. Everyone across America will celebrate you for going to be weird. And look, here's why it's important, because you're going to provide people a picture of what it looks like to go out and take a risk. Just go out and take a risk. Because you know that being alone is killing you. You know that putting up with abuse and toxicity or whatever is going on in your life. And I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to everybody listening. Whew. It's killing you. So try something different. You're worth so much more.